Though, would it be lovely to go and churn your own butter? Sure, maybe. I don't have time for that. There's going to be moments where you feel as though a story is being told about some caricature of you that actually has nothing to do with you.
Oh my God, you are not even ready for this. Meghan Markle just destroyed her own career in literally 30 seconds flat. What was supposed to be this polished, glossy Bloomberg interview meant to save her image? Well, it turned into the exact moment where every single fake thing about her cracked wide open. I swear, one answer had people screaming at their screens, not just shaking their heads, screaming. And guess what? It wasn't even the question you think. Out of nowhere, she says, "I don't have time to make dinner every night." Wait, what? Hold on. This is Meghan Markle we're talking about. A woman with no 9-to-5, married to a prince who also has 0 job obligations, living in a sprawling $14 million mansion in Montecito surrounded by nannies and staff. And she wants us to believe she's too busy to cook a meal? The audacity is unreal.
You search for your name, and there's like 1,000 different news stories about 1,000 different things.
Yes.
And so,
And that jaw dropper? Oh, honey, that was just the appetizer. What came next made that little dinner excuse look innocent. Meghan had the nerve to pretend like she had never heard the criticism that's been swirling around her for months. She expected people to cherish her empty jam jars like they were holy relics. And then, without realizing it, she exposed the real reason Netflix cut her deal. That one little slip completely rewrote the narrative.
Despicable new interview with Emily Chang from Bloomberg, an interviewer who wasn't...
But let me tell you, the moment that broke the entire internet wasn't about jam or dinner. It was when she shared this childhood memory that revealed her true colors. And it was darker than anyone imagined. Honestly, this wasn't just an interview gone wrong. This was a meltdown disguised as media training. And the internet commentary? Oh, it was savage. People weren't just criticizing, they were tearing it apart, but honestly, it was necessary. Because what Meghan revealed in this sit-down changes the entire way we see her. Before we even get into this manipulation masterclass, you need to buckle up, because after this, you'll never look at a Meghan Markle interview the same way again. The interview kicked off with what looked like some of the worst acting Meghan's ever done. When she was asked if she was glorifying homemaking, her face lit up with this wide-eyed fake shock. Pure theater, darling.
Like, you literally put out a series about your life in the royal family. How she takes...
Oh, really? She gasps, eyes popping like she's auditioning for a soap opera. That feels odd to me. I mean, I hadn't heard that, girl. Please. You hadn't heard that? The criticism that's been flooding social media for months? Who is she trying to fool? And everyone watching knew it. People were like, why does she always pull this little fake innocence act? The whole, what? People are saying that about me? Routine. It's like she's performing shock for an audience that already knows she's lying. And here's the kicker. It's not the first time. This pattern has followed her through interview after interview.
This is a woman who is trying to create a narrative and make other people feel as if, oh, you know, there's...
The problem is, it makes everything she says feel rehearsed and manipulative. Because if she really hadn't heard the criticism, why did she have these perfectly polished talking points ready to go? Exactly, you can't claim ignorance and then roll out a whole speech in response. That's not surprise. That's script. And just when you thought this was bad, Meghan dropped a line that left everyone questioning reality itself.
We get to share the me that's been here for so long that people maybe haven't had the same visibility to. Coming back on Instagram.
With a straight face, she says she doesn't have time to cook dinner every night. Let that sink in. The wife of a prince who doesn't even have a job with multiple nannies, staff running a mansion, and a life cushioned in luxury wants us to believe cooking dinner is a Herculean task. What exactly does she do all day? The commentary from fans captured it perfectly, because this disconnect from reality is off the charts.
I definitely hear what you're saying. I think Emily Chang knows that
people were like, what does she even do? Harry doesn't work, she doesn't work, they've got a team of employees, an army of nannies, and she can't manage dinner? But oh no, it gets worse. She actually brags about how she's great at ordering takeout and then plating it beautifully. Like, so she has time to order Uber Eats, time to play around arranging food on dishes, but actual cooking is impossible? The delusion is jaw-dropping. And then she throws in her weird little obsession, wiping the edges of plates to make them a little bit more beautiful.
Monarchy will survive this, come what may, but I think there is a sort of sadness. I think now that's become...
Yes, Even for her kids' meals, she says she meticulously cleans the sides of their plates. So let me get this straight. She's got time to fuss over plate aesthetics, but not enough time to actually cook. People online were brutal. I cannot imagine sitting down with Meghan Markle for dinner while she's rearranging food and obsessing over the plates. They nailed it. Nobody cares about presentation when you're starving. Just serve the food. And here's the insult. It wasn't just tone deaf, it was downright offensive to every working parent who actually has to juggle full-time jobs, childcare, and home life. These are people scraping together meals after 12-hour shifts, and Meghan's whining about having no time to cook while surrounded by staff? The disconnect is staggering.
Successful in their own right. This was just a second nature thing that they're doing. Meghan is coming off the...
And just when you thought Meghan couldn't get more out of touch, she pivots. Now she's suddenly bragging about her so-called business success. She claims her products are selling out so fast that it's, wait for it, actually a problem. A problem? Oh, give me a break. Because here's where the math collapses. She admits they went from selling 10 units to 100. That's what she calls 10 Jing inventory. 10 to 100. Babe, that's not scaling a business, that's a glorified bake sale. And yet, she's sitting there like she's Jeff Bezos announcing Amazon Prime. The delusion is unbearable, and the internet commentary shredded her apart. Exactly. People pointed out she's moving, 10 jars of jam at a time? Of course it looks sold out. Anyone can fake scarcity when you start with a handful of stock. It's not demand, it's smoke and mirrors. And then she drops this million-jar bombshell. She actually says they suddenly needed to order 1 million jars. Hold on, pause. If you're only selling a couple dozen jars here and there, why in the world would you jump to 1 million? The math doesn't add up, and the commentary called it out in seconds. They nailed it. She basically admitted she couldn't sell 1 million jars, but oh, now she has to manufacture them? What? The whole thing was a house of cards collapsing in real time? And here's the truth. Even 1 million jars isn't much when you're launching a global business. The problem wasn't scale, it was credibility. She was faking scarcity to pump up hype, and when pressed about real numbers, the facade crumbled. But then she went even further, trying to spin this idea that it was her own recipe. Cue the violins because Meghan starts rambling about the complexity of scaling her homemade jam recipe to industrial levels. She literally says, "Can you make 1 million cobblers taste the same as the one you bake at home?" As if she's breaking scientific ground. And the commentary just eviscerated her. Because here's the truth. It's not even her recipe. The jam is manufactured by Republic of Tea Company. All her emotional storytelling about grandma's secret methods, pure fiction. She even tried to nerd out and say, "I'm gonna get a little jammy with you," like she's some artisanal expert in food chemistry. But let's be real. She slapped her name on a jar made by professionals who already know how to can. It's the fakest authenticity you could sell. The commentary roasted her perfectly. I don't know how to jar jams. I don't expect you to know how to jar jams. That's why you hire people who can, and yet Meghan's there pretending she's masterminding this operation. Please. And then, oh my God, the interview swerves into the darkest lane yet, her childhood memory. She was asked about pricing strategy. A normal entrepreneur might talk about market research, affordability, or accessibility. Not Meghan. Instead, she dives into this high school story. She tells us how she worked an after-school job, saved money with her dad's help, and what was her goal? Was it to help her family? Save for college? Nope. She was obsessed with buying a BB shirt. And not just any BB shirt, one with rhinestones. She literally says, "All I wanted to do was save up to buy a shirt that said BB. And if you got the one with the rhinestones, you really made it." That was her dream. That was her formative memory. Not her father's support, not the lessons of working, not the value of money. Just a shiny shirt with a brand logo. And the commentary pounced. Because what does that reveal? Even as a teenager, her motivation wasn't family, wasn't education, wasn't growth. It was image. It was about looking rich, projecting status, being admired for possessions. And honestly, decades later, nothing has changed. That little anecdote wasn't harmless nostalgia. It was a window into her soul. She's been chasing status symbols since high school, and she's still doing it now. At first, it sounds like nothing, but listen closely. She basically admits Netflix wasn't throwing money at her because they believed in her brand. They were cornering her because she owed them. She tries to spin it like Netflix doubled down in their support of her. But here's what the commentary caught instantly. Netflix didn't double down. They downgraded her. The original $100 million deal that had everyone gasping, gone. What she has now is a basic first look deal. Translation, Netflix doesn't pay her unless they actually want her projects. They stripped it down to bare bones because they weren't impressed. She actually says, "There is a very powerful machine." Suggesting the media is conspiring to invent scandals just to cash in on her name, she claims negative coverage is just clickbait, not genuine backlash. And honestly, clash. The hypocrisy is suffocating, because while she's whining about the media machine, she's literally doing the interview to promote her overpriced jam. She's sitting in a $14 million mansion surrounded by luxury, lecturing people about being victims of clickbait. The irony writes itself, and the commentary cut straight through. People were like, really, Meghan? We're all just lying about you cutting off your own family and Harry's family? That's the machine? We just made that up? Please. She wants fame, she wants influence, she wants sales, but none of the accountability that comes with being in the spotlight. She even tries this line, people don't really know me. They're just talking about a version of me. But here's the gag. We do know her, because she keeps talking. She keeps showing us exactly who she is. Every interview is another reveal. Every carefully rehearsed answer is another mask slipping. And this Bloomberg disaster, the mask didn't just slip, it shattered. By the final moments, what was supposed to be a polished PR comeback had turned into a full-blown implosion. Every time Meghan opened her mouth, another contradiction spilled out. She couldn't claim she's relatable while talking about her nannies and staff. She couldn't sell authenticity while hyping jam made by someone else. She couldn't cry victim while doing an entire interview to sell luxury products. It all crumbled under the weight of its own fakery. And here's the scariest part. Meghan didn't even seem to realize how bad it was. Every word she said revealed how deeply disconnected she is from reality. This wasn't just a bad interview, it was a psychological profile, a public x-ray of someone who's lost all touch with how normal people live, work, and eat. The Bloomberg sit-down was supposed to mark Meghan's triumphant rebrand, her comeback, her "see, I'm relatable and powerful" moment. Instead, it was the day the curtain dropped and everyone saw the truth. The Empress has no clothes, and unlike her fake sold-out jam jars, this meltdown wasn't selling out anytime soon.